Let's talk about this guy real quick. Since their release in 2017, these stuffed animals have been the talk of the town. And that town is Earth. The Kelly Toy Company made these adorable squishy pets, and the success of them has only continued to skyrocket. Kids and adults both loved them. These cotton-filled, comfy friends, these soft, pillow-like plushies. These other words to describe Squishmallows. Today, I want to dive into the world of Squishmallows. I want to talk about their marketing, their popularity, and some theories on why I think they've risen to such fame. What's the big deal with Squishmallows? What's to offer here? Well, there's about 1,000 Squishmallows. Yeah, 1,000 Squishmallows. And you're probably thinking, Cole, how are there 1,000 stuffed animals to collect? That makes no sense. I mean, like, how do you make it interesting? How do you keep bringing them back? You stupid, dumb... Okay. Calm down. That's where collections come in, okay? There's Squishmallow collections. Current collections making the round are the Fantasy Squad, the Wildlife Squad, the Prehistoric Squad, but now there's even the Food Squad, the Scented Mystery Squad, the Baby Squad. Hold on, they're selling babies now. But in this list that I am hopefully showing you through my editing, you might notice one called the Sea Life Squad. Features Gordon the Shark, Anastasia the Axolotl, and even Janet. Janet the jellyfish. She's a jellyfish. Got it. But that's not the only SeaWorld squad, now is it? Wait, fuck, I said SeaWorld. Fuck, I'm ruining it. That's what we're going to next. Now, SeaWorld doesn't own the Kelly Toy Company. They just have shitty business practices. But they do indeed have their own Squishmallows. Okay, so there's Shark Squishmallow, Penguin Candy Corn Squishmallow. I actually kind of like him because he just looks so goofy and stupid. And then there's Elmo Squishmallow. What? As in, like, Elmo. Like this Elmo. Now, why is he connected to SeaWorld? Well, there's some little text at the top, if you see right here. It says, visit the Sesame Place shop for more Squishmallows. It then takes you to the Sesame Place, which is Sesame Street's merchandise shop, and they have, you guessed it, more Squishmallows. And this crazy train doesn't stop there. Pokemon literally released Squishmallows as I was writing this script. Disney even has their own Squishmallows. And you wouldn't know, because you're not going to find it on any Disney shops, but you know where you will find it? You'll find it at Amazon, and you'll find it at Walmart. And this brings me to my next point. This, my dear friends and Squishmallow enthusiasts, brings us to the fakers. It's all fake. Fakers. Fakers. Faker. I'm a faker. This is where it gets a little sad. All right? Look at me. I'm sorry. Not all Squishmallows are real. I'm sorry. If you haven't noticed, ideas can very easily be stolen. And ideas in this case, of course, mean stealing Squishmallows. Like, just completely stealing Squishmallows and just, like, changing a minor thing. And it's like, well, it gets to a certain point where I, as someone who is researching for this video, I don't even know what's real anymore. I searched up a lot of different brands and shows and all these other marketing stuff to see if I could find if they actually had their own Squishmallows or if they just made fake ones. And I was even lost. And I went to college for a year. Let's just say, at the end of the day, the My Little Pony Squishmallows aren't real, okay? And I'm kind of upset about it. While brands having their own characters made into Squishmallows is bad enough, that's not where the idea stealing stops. See, it gets even worse. Because then you have Squishmallows that are their own characters, you know, Gordon, Anastasia, whatever the hell Janet was. You get those characters getting ripped off as well. See, as I mentioned earlier, they make minute changes and hope that you don't see the difference. This obviously leads to a lot of fakes being sold at like super high prices and people still buying them because they just simply can't tell the difference. And that kind of really sucks. But as much as it sucks, Kelly Toy has only continued to reach new heights of popularity, and so have the fakes. And that's kind of where I'd like to go next. Squishmallow's popularity. So far, we've discussed the massive amounts of Squishmallows, the brand deals that Kelly Toy have since hatched through their product, and of course, the subsequent imposters that have arisen from this situation. But who buys Squishmallows? Now, brief side tangent. The reason I wanted to make this video is because some friends talked to me about Squishmallows, and I thought it seemed really interesting to make a video about. And one thing that came up while we were talking were buy-sell trade groups, specifically on Facebook. Facebook's Squishmallow groups are, for the most part, pretty tame, but there's a lot of them. And obviously there's groups for just talking about Squishmallows, like r/Squishmallows, but there's also the aforementioned trading groups for Squishmallows. People don't always get the Squishmallow that they want, which leads to people being like, hey, let's make a trade. And that's where these groups get made. People need Squishmallows, and trading, of course, is going to happen. If you don't get the Squishmallow you want, you gotta give to get, you know? That's how it works here. There's a buy-sell trade Reddit forum, besides just the regular r/Squishmallows. There's Discord servers, Facebook groups for different regions. The squish goes on. Like, the list goes on. I thought that was funny. And the craziest thing of all of this is I still can't find this little guy. Look at him. I can't find him. And it's pretty funny that I actually can't already find a Squishmallow to write into my script and then edit into my video. So I have to like go searching for a long time to find one to edit in. Long story short, you might be confused because I did put one. I'm just gonna shut up. The thing that's funny about this is that I couldn't find a Squishmallow to put there. And the reason? It's because it's hard to find Squishmallows. Like, it's hard. Like, there's only certain amounts of Squishmallows made of, like, specific characters, so it's hard to find some of them sometimes, at least for reasonable prices. And that's truly what it is. It's the triumphs and defeats, the epic highs and lows of Squishmallow trading. God, I'm quoting Riverdale. But there's a couple Squishmallows that I'd like to talk about today, some specific ones. So let's start with good old Hans. Hans is a little hedgehog guy, and a nice, sweet little guy. And for Kelly Toy selling 100 million Squishmallows, they made Hans. However, only 10,000 of Hans exists, or, sorry, I guess 13,000 of him exist. Because 3,000 of them are Golden Hans. Golden Hans is being sold for $60. One per person, one per household. And while it's nice to see them cracking down on people mass buying Squishmallows and then selling them all for huge profits, let's just say not every place has limits like this. 5 and Below has limits, but Kroger's? Hell no. What else does Kroger's have? Nothing. Nothing. Walgreens? Walgreens doesn't have limits either. And you know what place definitely doesn't have limits on selling them? People reselling Squishmallows. A combination of the rarity of some of these Squishmallows and also people just being assholes online leads to a lot of these Squishmallows being sold for very expensive prices. Chanel, Lucille, Felipe? It's whatever. Avery, Mariah, Blossom, Santino, and Jack the Black Cat. In the order that those Squishmallows were mentioned, the lowest price is $450. And the highest, Jack the Black Cat, has an estimated value of $2,000. This dude has 500 of him in the world. 500 of Jack the Black Cat. And he's a cat. And I gotta admit, he's adorable. I love him. I'm part of the problem. And speaking of the problem, guess what else ruins all this? Guess what else is part of the problem? Rip-offs of Jack the Black Cat. Yeah, there's rip-offs of him too. And it's minor changes. Colors of the belly change. Ears change. Little things like that change. And it's hard to notice. I don't even notice them. In a world where we are all kindergartners, there's this one kindergartner. His name's Squishmallows. And he brought cupcakes with him that his mom made. But she only made 2 cupcakes. And this guy also brings along his shitty brother, who no one really knows or likes. But guess what? He also brought cupcakes. And he brought a lot of them. But they're made of mud. And shit. With shit icing. And here's the thing. I've studied Squishmallows for weeks writing this video. And I know one thing. The Squishmallows to Beanie Babies / Webkinz pipeline. Yeah, I said what I said. The Squishmallows to Beanie Babies / Webkinz pipeline. It's where it all starts. It's where it all ends. We're on a looping cycle here. Let's start with Webkinz, because honestly, I didn't think they'd be selling really. Like, I didn't think they'd be selling for that much, but they do. For a stuffed animal that's been sold since like 2008, they're selling for around $15 to maybe $40, and some of them are even going for $100. That's pretty good. But through some research that I've done, I found a website that was talking about some Webkinz being sold for $2,000, sometimes even a little more. And this was all in early 2020. And to think, even in a worldwide pandemic, people still have priorities. And at least to my knowledge, Webkinz still have their website up that you can play games on. So that's pretty cool. And on the other side of things, let's see if Griffin was a true stock investor when he invested in Pee-wee Babies, or Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies. Now, I was quite into Beanie Babies back in the day. You know, Cracker Barrel sells your favorite stuffed animal toys, so you gotta pick some up. I had all the Beanie Babies that a 4-year-old could ever dream of. Beanie Babies were a mainstay of not only my childhood, but also the childhood of other kids from the early 2000s, and even the 90s. Yeah, Beanie Babies were made in 1993. Only 90s kids remember them. And my girlfriend, Storm, had mentioned that they didn't really sell that well, at least from what she knew. And that's pretty true. Beanie Babies now, sold on their website, sell for like $5, which is pretty fair from a company that's been around for almost 20 years. But it doesn't stop there, does it? The old Beanie Babies. The bears sell for around $30,000. The Peace Bear. The Valentine Bear. The Beanie Baby Princess Di Ultra Rare New whatever that word is, toucan tags plus more investment quality. All these bears sell for minimum $20K, selling for 5 digits. What? And this is what I mean. The pipeline. Beanie Babies are sold for so much now, but on their website, they're not really sold for anything. But now, online, people reselling them, 5 digits. 20K, 30K, 40K. There was one for 50K. That's a lot of money. The collector's value is through the roof. And the company's new stuff isn't super pricey, but the collectors win. They always win. That's all it is. It'll continue with Webkinz, and then it'll continue with Squishmallows, and it'll continue with whoever comes after all of them. It never stops. It's never gonna stop. It's a looping cycle. It's Squishmallows to Beanie Babies / Webkinz pipeline, okay? It's a thing. And I know this whole video has pretty much just been man discovers collector's items have value, lol, but stuffed animals, it's the new stock market. Or something like that. There's a famous quote that I found online that relates to all of this. It's, any man whose errors take 10 years to correct is quite a man. Years and years of this stuffed animal authority. This cushiony tyranny. Janet. It never stops. It's errors and mistakes that we will continue to make as a society. And that quote is from J. Robert Oppenheimer, the guy who ran the Manhattan Project, that made the atomic bomb, okay? This is pretty serious stuff now. He also said, no man should escape our universities without knowing how little he knows. And if there's one thing I know, it's that you should subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every few months, I put on a little cowboy hat and I talk about things that... Yeah, I talk about things that... And then all of you, behind the camera, all of you, you go, ha ha ha, thanks Cole, you did a real funny thing this month. See you in a few more. And we laugh and laugh and laugh. Anyways, subscribe to the YouTube channel, go follow my Twitch. It's twitch.tv/acoledixon. Hopefully it's on screen right here. I stream like 2 to 3 times a week. You can also follow my other socials. They'll be in the description because I don't want to edit them in. Whatever. Also, make sure you turn on notifications so you can see every time that I post and go live on Twitch. Why are you still here? Why are you still here? Leave. Go. No one wants you here. Leave. We're done. The video, it's over. Have a good day. And a night. Or whatever it is. Peace. God, I'd love to hear Garfield say fuck. But not Chris Pratt Garfield. Just like regular ass Garfield. I hate him. fuck, I hate Mondays.